Mr. President, distinguished delegates, I would like, on the outset, to extend my warmest congratulations for your election as President of the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly. And this congratulations also go to your entire team of the presidency. Please rest assured of Thailand's full support as you undertake to fulfill your important mission. We are at the watershed moment as an international community and as the United Nations. We stand at a point where the decision we make and the actions we pursue can shape the world and shape the course of humanity for years to come. But we can only do it together, guided by our shared interest and based on mutual respect. The COVID-19 pandemic has only exacerbated the inequality gaps. It has reversed at least 4 years of development gains, according to the UNDP, and at a time when the world is trying to recover from the 2 years of pandemic, our problems are compounded with multiple challenges. We are seeing new conflicts on top of global geopolitical tensions. We are experiencing the food crisis, the energy crisis, and the financing crisis. These have had the most detrimental impact on those who are most vulnerable, that is LDC and the small island development states, the SIDS, and vulnerable groups such as women, girls, the elderly, and people with disability. Collective action is certainly needed now. Mr. President, the food crisis has affected us all. This global food insecurity stems from the conflicts, climate change disruption, to supply chain and uneven recovery from the COVID-19. There is thus an urgent need to strengthen multilateral action among like-minded partners, United Nations agencies, WTO, and international institutions in facilitating a constructive dialogue and improving policy coordination to address this crisis. It is certainly vital to keep our global supply chains open for seamless cross-border flows of food, fertilizer, and essential goods, by also making our food system more resilient so that equitable access to safe and healthy food for all can be guaranteed. Thailand is prepared to realize this vision. In this context, Thailand welcomes the Black Sea. This initiative further stresses the importance of international cooperation under the UN's framework in order to respond to new global challenges. The pandemic, good health for all is critical, and that's why universal health coverage should be a high and access to safe, effective, quality, and affordable of health as part of our commitment to human rights. We must continue to invest in promoting a more inclusive social protection system for all, as called for by the Secretary General in our Common Agenda report. To reinforce this, the global health architecture needs to be reformed, both structurally and functionally, to address the current shortcomings and systemic failures of health systems. And that's why Thailand fully supports the development of a legally binding international instrument on pandemic prevention, preparedness, and responses under the WTO. The new instrument must place equity at its heart to ensure self-reliance of developing countries when faced with pandemic, especially through enhancing their capacity to manufacture certain medical countermeasures. With better food and health security, we will be better positioned to putting the Sustainable Development Goals back on track. In doing so, A human rights-based approach is needed to ensure that the rights and basic needs of all persons are guaranteed, especially the rights and needs of those most vulnerable and furthest behind. This will help enhance our resilience and capacity to cope with the future crisis. SDGs serve both as a pathway and the end goals in ensuring survival of our present and future generations. As we have only 8 years left to attain the SDGs, we need to employ every tool at our disposal, from science, technology, and innovation, to working in partnership at every level to drive this agenda forward. Because without sustainable development, there is no future. We need to promote North-South and South-South cooperation and the integration of 2030 agenda with other cooperation frameworks, both at the global and regional levels. And that's why ESCAP and ASEAN are working to enhance the complementarity between the 2030 Sustainable Development Goal, also demonstrates the importance we place on the development cooperation, especially among developing countries. Forming SDGs from mere aspiration to reality for all. Thailand agrees with the least developed countries. And to promote sustainable development, Thailand has adopted the Bio-Circular Green Economy Model, or BCG. The BCG economy model utilizes science, technology, and innovation to encourage the optimization of resources for balance between our people-centered approaches and protecting our planet. And to this end, and biodiversity loss. Thailand is committed to promoting its post-2020 global biodiversity framework and the international legally binding gas emission by 2065. And without adequate support, Thailand will be able to increase its nationally determined contribution, or NDC, target to 40%, while our gas emission drop strategies that reflect those goals ahead of COP26 at Sharm el-Sheikh. Meanwhile, the pledges of developing